What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you for joining me. I hope you like what you see. Please hit that subscribe button, that notification button, and leave a thumbs up if you like the video. And check out my other videos as well. You see my profile and my bio. You know what this channel is about, so I hope you stick around. And for everyone who's been checking out my films and my movie reviews, thank you so much for joining me once again. I do appreciate it. As always, and let's get straight to it. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 finally is here, and it did not disappoint. It was supposed to come out, I believe, 2020. Then James Gunn got fired because of old tweets that he had made of jokes, and Disney fired him, but he had the backing of his cast, of the cast that he hired, and Marvel Studios themselves, who had his back, backed him up and wanted him to get rehired because they, if you look about the tweets and whatnot, I feel like what I've seen, I guess this is what it comes down to. When you make jokes, you have to understand. Nowadays, you just can't say anything as a joke. A lot of people get offended easily, and don't understand, and some things might be a little like, whoa, that's something not to joke about. But even then, like he got fired because Disney felt like what he said and his jokes weren't it. But apparently they probably weren't as bad as they made it out to be when they fired him, and that's why he got the backing of his castmates and Marvel Studios, and Disney rehired him. So thankfully he got to do Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, finish that trilogy that he started. And and then the pandemic happened, so that pushed things back further. So now we got in 2023, which I feel like it was for the best because things weren't rushed and things were able to, I guess, get touched up and fixed. And I really enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It was a bittersweet ending for a lot of the characters. Each one got their due. Each one had their time to shine, the main characters. And even the new characters, for the most part, were pretty cool. The only one that most people would agree with that was underutilized or not to their liking is Adam Warlock. If you know Adam Warlock, he's a beast in the comic books. He actually had a big part in the Infinity War saga with Thanos, and that didn't happen obviously. If you saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and you know about the Infinity Saga, how the Mind Stone was envisioned, you knew that wasn't going to happen. But it was just great to still see Adam Warlock, and I'm looking forward to see what they'll do with the character himself going forward in this new team that Rocket now leads. Rocket, Groot, who's now a bigger group, and you have Kraglin, Cosmo, who's the dog, the Russian dog, who we've seen in a little bit of a cameo in Part 1, I believe. And then you have Phyla Vel, I think that's her name, who was one of the original Guardians from the comics, I believe. Just like Yondu was one of the original Guardians of the Galaxy members, but they switched things in the comics to the movies. And then Adam Warlock, who is part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. And, I'm looking forward to see what they do. This new team isn't as interesting, but I'm still looking forward to it. We know Rocket, we know Groot, who we all enjoy and love, I'm sure. And then Kraglin, who's been part of the team for a while, who we can, I'm sure we can root for as part of the team, because he's obviously not the best character in the team, but he's been part of the team for a while, so you can still root for him. And other than that, like the High Evolutionary, he was a bad dude. When it came to the animals, you really felt it. Like that, he's the experiments and the way he treated them. You really hated this guy. What he did, and it just is a testament to the actor. He did a great job. The High Evolutionary, I hated the outfit. It's that purple getup, and I feel like that's a common trope when that whole purple with Ronin. You got Kang the Conqueror. Like, I wish they would have kept to the High Evolutionary as the comics, even though it kind of looked more like an Iron Man suit he was wearing. But what they did stick to was that when Gamora takes off the face that's been destroyed by Rocket, it looked like the face that they had shown in the comics underneath that whole suit. But other than that, it was fine. I didn't mind the whole look of the High Evolutionary. I guess that's a way of showing the actor themselves. Most of the time it's, they don't like to cover the actors' faces. Me, I don't need to see the actors' faces, but I guess I get it why they do that. But other than that, the story just, it was really a Rocket Raccoon story that had the other Guardians of the Galaxy members, of course, as part of it, trying to get him back because he was injured, and trying to get him, make sure that he doesn't die, in which, you thought one or two characters were going to die in the film and nobody died, which I do appreciate that none of the characters died because I love all the characters, but I was really expecting Rocket or Drax to die, or both for that matter, and I was willing to accept the fact that, that's what happened as long as they went out with a bang. But, they all lived, and I guess that was a little disappointing. And it might be sounding weird. Why is that disappointing that the character didn't die? It was just because the trailer had you expect, so that when you were trying to ready yourself for that moment and it wasn't delivered, you kind of was like relieved, but at the same time like just for that sense of, wow, this is high stakes. You know what I mean? But you kind of got that, but then it would always disappear, that fear, like, oh, these characters are gonna die. And at one point you thought Peter Quill was going to die, and I was ready to accept that, even though he's one of my favorite characters in the MCU. I've always liked Peter Quill. Star-Lord is awesome. I really like Chris Pratt in the role, but here comes Adam Warlock to save the day, and Chris Pratt, Star-Lord is alive and well, and now he's on Earth. You can see the after credits. He's on Earth. I say Earth. On Earth, he's in the after credits with his grandfather and hanging out, and which is cool because I always want them to be on Earth and really like get back to the roots of being a human on Earth. Even though he's half celestial, which that part of him is gone from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 when he killed his pops, who was Eagle, the living planet, the celestial. But apparently Star-Lord will return, it said, and the legendary Star-Lord will return after credits, so we might see him again somehow, maybe in one of the Avengers films, Kang Dynasty or so, I'm not sure. But I'm looking forward to seeing. I want more Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm looking forward to see what they do with this new group. But the story that we got with this group, the last bit, like I said, everybody got to shine, and you really got to see the origins of Rocket Raccoon and really get that feel. Like, I hate films where animals are talking, but Guardians of the Galaxy does it right when it comes to, having these characters talk. You have the flashbacks with Rocket Raccoon and his, little squad that he befriends, and they all chatting with each other, and it just didn't feel weird. You're already used to this with the film, the trilogy itself, the franchise, but it was just an emotional journey, and one that I wish would continue, and I'm really grateful that we did get that holiday special to kind of continue with the Guardians of the Galaxy before Volume 3. But it really is one of my favorite franchises in the MCU and just in general. I love science fiction films, I love space films, and Guardians of the Galaxy does it right. James Gunn did a great job with this franchise. He's a great director, a great storyteller, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does with the DC universe. I'm not too big on Superman. I know he's doing a new Superman film, Superman Legacy. I did like Man of Steel, I will say that, but when it came out. But Superman really isn't one of my favorite characters, but he's taking advantage of he's taking control of the whole DC universe. So I really am confident that he'll give us justice when it comes to the whole DC franchise, even though it seems like they're starting it from these characters being older, having been more involved already. It's not just us starting from the beginning, origins. I don't think that's what's going on there, which I'm already tired of the origins trope, because we've got that enough when it comes to Batman and Superman films. That is like, let's get these characters already situated so we can go forward and do these films right. Unlike the whole Snyderverse thing, where characters were kind of just they were just trying to rush to get the Justice League out and whatnot. But anyways, this isn't about that. But what I'm saying is James Gunn is a great filmmaker, and I know he's gonna do a good job with that. But Guardians of the Galaxy did not disappoint. Volume 3, and I will definitely be seeing it again. I took my father to see it because he's a big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Not like crazy fan, but he really enjoyed the franchise, even though he doesn't really follow the MCU like that. But Guardians of the Galaxy is one of the MCU films that the franchise films that he likes to watch, and so I took him to see that, treated him to that. So he enjoyed it, and it was just great. If you've seen the film, when Groot says "I love you guys," for anyone who didn't know, apparently he is not speaking in English when he says "I love you guys." He is still saying "I am Groot," the director says, but it's for us to, as if we are understanding what he is saying when he says "I am Groot," and it's I love you guys. So just a little fun fact for that, for anyone who didn't know about that. But yeah, it was a great way to end these characters that happen to all live and not die and all move on to their own journeys. And I think that was a bittersweet ending in the way of having this group having done what they wanted to do, and having realized what they wanted to achieve for themselves, and do and have a lot of realizations for themselves after having been Guardians of the Galaxy for some time. And it was just done well, and I really enjoyed the film. It gets 2 thumbs up from me. It gets 5 stars from me. It gets there's a lot of positive with it, and despite the little nitpicks, they're just nitpicks. And again, I don't go into this the MCU expecting 100% comic book accuracy. I know it's the film version, and that's kind of what helps me to accept things like Adam Warlock, who to me he's just like a little bit childish. Of course, he got out of the cocoon early, so he's kind of like a child. And even though you want the Adam Warlock that of from the comics, but it's like it's all good. I'm sure they're gonna give more of Adam Warlock in the future, and we might get the version that we're looking for. Of course, without the whole Mind Stone and Thanos thing, but we're gonna get a variation of him. Even though I would like to know what that stone is on his head, but everyone did a great job. Dave Bautista continues to impress me. Having been a wrestler and turned actor, and just the way he apparently just has so much respect for acting and film in general. Like I really just love his story a lot. And Tom Clementieff, am I saying her right? Mantis. I only met her in Guardians of the Galaxy, but I would like to see more of her in other films. Karen Gillian, Nebula. I've seen I've seen a lot of her work, and she's awesome. You have Gamora. Her name escapes me. Wow. I used to be so good with actors' names, but yes, Gamora. And I'll put her name up here. I don't know why I can't remember her name, but she's always dope. I've seen a lot of her in films. Sorry for forgetting your name. I'm just so lately. Just names escape me. Names escape me. Chris Pratt. I like Chris Pratt. I like to see more work from him. I'm a big fan of Chris Pratt. I like a lot of his films. You have who else? Well, Bradley Cooper, who was Rocket Raccoon, the voice of Rocket Raccoon. Where you been at, Bradley? I haven't seen much from you, or at least the last couple of projects that you were in. I never saw. Had no interest, but I want to see you back into that. That scope of big blockbuster franchises. We have Vin Diesel as Groot. He's Vin Diesel. I could care less for a lot of his films, unfortunately. I do like Riddick. Fast and the Furious films, I don't care, but I do watch them, so I'm definitely going to watch Fast X. And then you have Sean Gunn, who is the brother of James Gunn, the director, who does the body movement of Rocket, the motion capture, plus he's Kraglin. He does the whistling that he took the arrow from Yondu and passed. He owns it now. He's been doing DC work with James Gunn, Suicide Squad and whatnot. And it's always great that James Gunn hires a lot of these actors that he's used in other films, in new films that he's doing. So it's always great to work with somebody like that, and then to have a brother like that to give you a job. It's cool. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And then all the other actors that were in the film, I would like to see them. Even High Evolutionary. Apparently, he was in Peacemaker. I never saw Peacemaker. I wasn't interested. I was interested, but I wasn't to watch it. But he did a great job, and I would like to see him in other films. And I really like the cast. The casting was great. The story was pretty simple for the most part. Not much in the way of traveling like the other films. I felt like there was kind of specific to locations, nowhere, then Council Earth, the ship, their ship and whatnot. But it did its job. It did what it needed to do. It gave us what the story that we needed to see, and I really enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're here watching the spoiler review, please check it out for yourself. There's probably a lot more that I've missed, a lot of intricate details and whatnot. But other than that, if you've seen the film, I hope you liked it yourself. And if you didn't, please let me know in the comments what you did or didn't like about the film. Are you looking forward to the new Guardians of the Galaxy team that we have at the mid-credits scene? Are you looking forward to this new team, or would you have rather a continuation of the old team? Do you want any, I don't know, spin-off TV show or films? Like Mantis, she's going off to find herself. Do you want a little, maybe one movie on Disney Plus? A special to see what she's been up to, what she's doing, or any of the other characters? Let me know. Yeah, let me know. Let's have a conversation about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. What you liked about it? Which films of the first Volume 1, 2, and 3 do you prefer? I still love the first one as my favorite, but they're all great. And yeah, you let me know in the comments what you think. And that's all I got for this review. Thank you so much for watching, and I do appreciate it again, as always. Thank you, and until next time, later.